Part 2 of the podcast with John Barry, one of my all-time favorite singers. And, I wanted to start the second part of the podcast with something my mom absolutely wanted me to tell you, because, that's something that you don't see very often. Your mom and yourself having the same favorite singer. You don't see that very often, but I remember, the first time my mom listened to you, was Your Love Amazes Me, and you became... the moment you became her favorite singer, and your version of Holy Night, she still listens to you. So when I told her that you were on my podcast, she was totally like, "Oh my God, I don't understand English, but I will Google, translate everything."
Oh, that's funny. That's great.
Because here, we speak French. I'm lucky because I travel so much over the years. I learned to speak English, thankfully, because it'd be long trips, without being able to talk English. But that's great. She wanted me to tell you that your songs over the years have helped her, through tough times and good times, and she's your favorite, number one favorite fan. So maybe you should come here in Quebec or Montreal to do a show one of these days.
I'm a phone call away. All they got to do is call me.
That would be amazing, because
I'd love that.
That would be amazing, because we had Brad Paisley in Montreal last year, but we don't have a lot of country shows. We have to drive to Ottawa to see them. And the last show we saw was about 2 years ago, was Kenny Chesney, and Tim McGraw. We don't see, there's not a lot of shows in our area. So when we do want to see a good country show, we go to Boston, which is like 4 hours away from here. But, people will be surprised that Montreal has a good country music fan base, and people from the United States are very close to us. So people from Vermont, it's actually faster for somebody who lives in Vermont to come here in Montreal than to go to Boston,
Yeah, isn't that funny? That's awesome. They're playing.
That would be amazing.
Any concert promoters that are looking for a good act to bring to town, tell them to give me a call. I'd love to come there and play.
But you know what? I could do something. I could try to contact the person that manages the show we have every year in Lac Brome, the Brome County Fair. And it's a very popular attraction here. It's every August, and every year they bring.
It's an outdoor festival.
Yeah, it's outdoors. A few years ago we had Paul Brandt. You know Paul Brandt?
Oh yeah, Paul's great. Yeah,
he's awesome. We had Terry Clark. We had Emerson Drive. We had the Hammers. I remember his name. The Road Hammers. We had some pretty a guy. That does imitation of George Strait.
Road Hammers are great. Is that Jason?
It's Jason. Is it Jason McCoy?
Jason McCoy.
Yeah, Jason McCoy. Yeah. I was on tour. I was on the tour with Michelle Wright. Mm-hmm. We did a tour across, and One Horse Blue was on that tour, and then Martina McBride and I did a tour across, and Jason opened that show.
Oh my God, that's such a small world.
I understand. He got the guy with the band, Road Hammers, and they were just rocking.
Oh, a great Canadian singer. Is very, very good. There's a good Canadian country singers even today. Guys, that flies sometimes under the radar. But country music in Canada is very popular. When you go like in Alberta or British Columbia, it's very, very big. And it's here. We don't have the country radio station, but like I said before, you can now go on satellite radio and listen to your favorite music. And you Google it, iTunes and YouTube. Now we can choose the music we want to listen to, and there's a lot of great singers. But you touring with Martina McBride, you're a lucky man, myself.
We had a lot of fun. That was a great tour. We had a great time on that tour.
And everybody knows about Martina's extraordinary voice, and probably the best female country singer maybe ever, with Loretta Lynn and some awesome singers. But how is Martina, on the road? She looks so much like a simple, very down-to-earth woman. She's she looks amazing, and she seems to be
She's terrific.
Wow. How was your experiences with her? A very down-to-earth person, right?
Oh, yeah, she's great. We had a great time.
That's amazing.
Great time being on that tour.
And have you ever had the chance to work with Neil McCoy during?
Oh, yeah, he's crazy. He's a good guy. Matter of fact, I saw him not too long ago at FanFest here in Nashville a few weeks ago. He was here, and so some friends of ours were here in town, and they live in the same town as Neil, and so they didn't know each other, but they got a chance to introduce them, but they live in the same town as Neil. So
wow, that's incredible because he's still in Texas. You know, Neil's a Texan. You know, that's he never changed. You know, he still sounds the same. I don't know if you've seen his new video. I don't think it's been. It's on iTunes, but the video is on YouTube. It's called "Can You Do This?" And it's probably. The guy is in his 50s and he still looks like he's 40 years old and he's still dancing and being crazy, jumping on stage. And he's got everybody on that video. Lone Star, the guys from, from the Boston Red Sox, football players from this guy seems to be everybody's best friend.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a nice fella.
Every podcast I do with every singer, they're like, "Oh, I know Neil's a good friend of mine." So you're a good guy if everybody considers you a good friend, right?
Yeah, but he's just one of the nicest guys, and always pretty straight up, and just always glad to see you, and it's just nice guy to be around.
That like you are, and so if you had to, that's a traditional question, but if you had to tell me the best moment of your career, the one thing that, besides, the live performance of If I Had Any Pride Left at All, the CMA Awards, besides that moment, your favorite memory of all of your years, of touring and performing live?
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I've got a favorite. One of the most career moments is, though, that CMA Award, the CMA Award show, but, I've just been so fortunate to get to do so many things I've loved to do, it's just so many things. It's hard to just point out just one thing, but and I guess it'd have to be that moment of singing on the '95 award show, the CMAs that we talked about before, doing If I Had Any Pride Left at All. That's just my favorite career moment.
No question about it. To me, like I kind of compare it to I don't know if you back in, I think it was like the late '80s when there were a lot of people lip singing live on stage, and I remember Bon Jovi coming up and singing "Wanted Dead or Alive" and "Living on a Prayer," just John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora with their guitars, and everybody was blown away. That was a career moment for them that I kind of compare to what you did at the CMA Awards, because what I think happens during those shows, tell me if you agree with me, but is that when you look at the CMA Awards, most of the time you look at the videos and the setting, the beautiful girls in mini skirts with the singer, or the beautiful video being played on the background, or people dancing in front of the stage, and the fireworks and everything. But that moment was simply, like you said before, a man and his guitar. That's it, and that's all, and an amazing song. So that to me was what was different.
It was pretty cool moment.
And something that, probably after that, did it change, not to say that people, but I mean, did it change the way you were treated from the label or from, your peers after that? Was like a coming out moment, like, oh my God. Did it change?
I don't really recall a perceived change. Not that I don't really recall anything like that.
But it's a defining moment, that you can look back and go like, well, I did it and I didn't stumble, because that's something that could have been, it turned out this way, but it could have been like if you had stumbled, let's say during the song, or you the lyric gone wrong or whatever, it could have been like you had nobody to turn out to and to save you, if something went wrong, right?
Yeah. No, it was just me.
That's a big difference.
There
was
nobody to turn to and blame it on if anything had gone wrong.
Exactly. But if Montgomery Gentry, if something happens with Eddie, T-Roy can save him, or T-Roy stumbles, Eddie can pick it up. But now it was just you and your guitar. No way you can. You stumble or tripped, you would have been like, oh my God, So that. But were you nervous, like the few minutes before you went on stage, or you had that?
Oh yeah.
You were.
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking.
But you were able to.
Really nerve-wracking.
But I think that, nervousness is kind of like, I'm a big wrestling fan, and I talk to wrestlers like what happens before a WrestleMania match, or a hockey player before Game 7 of a Stanley Cup, or, when you do paranormal TV shows, just before you go and record your first TV show. You have to be able to control that nervousness and that fear and turn it into something positive. If you can't do that, well, you're not cut up to do live performances. You have to be able to control the nervousness, but it's almost normal to be nervous, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
and I'm sure that even today you still are sometimes.
It just makes you got to channel that adrenaline and that energy.
Exactly, and be able to turn that fear and that nervousness into, you singing from the heart, and being able to come down to and something that I always thought about is that when you go on stage and you sing, like, you have your set list, like, okay, I'm going to sing this song, and this song. Do you have a preset set list for your shows, or you ad lib from time?
Yeah, it changes periodically. It just depends on where we're at, what the event is, and we'll change it up. But we've got a pretty basic set list.
Okay, and has it happened once during your career, you just forget the lyrics of a song? Or how can an artist, if the first time you cut your new song and you're not sure if you're going to remember everything, is there a way, that somebody can stand in front of you out of the way of the crowd, or to help you, with the lyrics? Or that's something I always wonder, what happens if you forget? You just...
If you forget, you hope your wife remembers.
that's another. Yeah, you hope T-Roy's there to to say that.
I typically, if I've got new songs, I usually keep lyrics on the front of the stage on the floor.
Okay. Because that's what I noticed. A lot of singers, sometimes they'll have some, like a computer, in front of them, with the lyrics there just in case, like Bon Jovi uses that during their show. And it's there just in case, because but you can always go back to the first verse or whatever, there's when you've been doing that for as long as you've been doing that, you have ways to get out of sticky situations, I'm sure.
Yeah, you just gotta, of course, there's going to be a song or two that might be new or something like that, where it might be a little tricky. You just have to have those things, whether it be lyrics on an iPad or a computer screen, or lyrics taped. Usually, if I just have the first couple of words of each line, it's usually all I need. And if I've got a song or two that's new, I'll have the lines, just the first word or two written down on each line. And if I grab the first couple of words, I'm good. So.
That's amazing. So just before we go, I just want people to, maybe some people who didn't listen to the first part of the podcast, because that's the thing about YouTube. There's going to be like two different videos. I just want to go back to your new project, Kickstarter project. People can find your new project directly on your Facebook page, John Barry, or on johnbarry.com on your website. There's also links of it on your Twitter account, John Barry. That's, just very easy, right, to find you on social media. But just tell me.
Our Facebook page is John Barry Music.
John Barry Music.
You go to Facebook.com/John Barry Music, and but there's a link on there, and the Kickstarter program just kicked off a week ago. We've got about 32 days left, I think, because of a 40-day campaign. And I hope folks will take a look at it. We're real excited. I've written some songs that I'm real excited about, and I've found some songs about some wonderful writers that I just can't wait to share with folks.
Oh my goodness, me too. And people can also, through that project, spend a day with you, in the studio while you're making the record, which is a great innovative way to bring the fans, closer to the making of a CD, which to me is something that one of these days, I'll be able to see it. That's one of the things, on my to-do list, to see the making of a record, the artwork that goes behind it, and the songwriter.
Cool.
It's amazing, and I wanted to thank you for your time, and hopefully we can do another podcast once the project will be completed to talk about it, and that would be amazing. Maybe even you having, maybe if you can one of these days do a live acoustic version of one of your songs on the podcast. I did it with Paul Lane a few months ago, so anything is possible.
That's nice. That's awesome.
That would be great, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time, John, for the podcast. Really appreciated talking to you, and very happy that you're still making new music for us. Because we you still got it, and we still want to hear you sing it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and maybe we'll work out something. I can get it that way to come play for you folks. That'd be awesome.
All right, that would be incredible. So I'll get back to you. If I ever get the. If I'm able to reach out to the guy that does the Brome County Fair here, that would be amazing. To have the chance to see you here in our neck of the woods, that would be amazing.
Well, thanks for letting me be on the show with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, John. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Thank you now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. So that was very, very happy today that I had a chance to have one of my favorite country singers on the show with me, John Barry. And, the guy is a tremendous voice, and one of the best country singers you'll ever hear. If you want to look it up on YouTube, or you can watch some of his live performances, which is, to me, probably some of the best you'll ever see. And, Your Love Amazes Me, one of the best country songs of all time. So I'm very happy I had a chance to talk to him. And I feel very blessed, again, to have you people listen to the show. And, we'll be back very soon with new guests. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, everybody.